Welcome back to the Liverpool FC TV. I want to pose a question to you. How many players do you believe are the right number for a Premier League first team squad? The reason why I asked that question is Arne Slot said in his post-match press conference after the defeat against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup that he's only working with a small squad of 15, around 15 he said. And that got me thinking, well, how many is sufficient for any team, especially if you're competing at Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup and Carabao Cup competitions? I remember when Enzo Maresca joined Chelsea at the beginning of last season, he inherited 30 players, and that was far too much. So if 30 is too many and 15 is too few, then somewhere in between must be the right number. Well, Arne Slot, when you were out spending money in the summer for players, why didn't you go for quantity over quality? If you added together 116 million for Wirtz and 125 million for Isak and put that together, you could have bought yourself 6 or 7 good players that you could have brought to Liverpool and developed into outstanding great players. 6 or 7 added on to 15 gives you about 21, 22, which I think is about the right size, taking into consideration injuries, suspensions, and then rotating for the lesser competitions that you devalue in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. As we know, we used fringe players last season for the Carabao Cup, which got us to the final. We put out an even weakened team in the FA Cup, and that was a disaster. We went to Plymouth Argyle in the third round and got beaten. But in the Premier League, Arne Slot only used about 12 or 13 players. That's what he picked from. So 15, in his eyes, isn't enough. Well, what is enough? When I thought that we were going out and buying quality players, it was going to be strengthening the squad so we could defend our Premier League title and go further in the Champions League this season. But unfortunately, that's not happening. Rotation. Well, I've mentioned this before in a previous video, and I just want to say this, that in all the options that I put forward, like rotating because players are out of form, or because they can't play 3 times in a week, or the injuries or suspensions, or even giving everybody a game. Well, on Wednesday night, what we got was everybody got a game. And Bill Shankly always used to say to his players, he instilled it into them, that the fans who came through the turnstiles week in, week out for all the home matches were there paying their wages, the players' wages. And some of these players need to remember the vast amounts of money that they're on per week. All those people who turned up on Wednesday night, about 60,000 of them, paid a lot of money to watch football. And what they got was undervalue. Not value for money at all. When you've got fringe players and a whole lot of youngsters, that's what you're paying the wages for. Not for the first teamers who were sitting in the stand watching. And so you've got to balance things up. So now we're at the Carabao Cup, and now we're going to focus on the league. And this weekend's clash at home against Aston Villa. Aston Villa are going great guns at the moment. They had a bad start to the season, but they've picked up. In the last 5 league games, they've won 4 and drawn 1. Whereas in our last 5 games, we've lost 4 and won 1. We sit 7th on 15 points. Aston Villa sit 8th on 15 points. And there's a goal difference of 1. So if Villa come to Anfield this weekend and beat us, then obviously we're going to slip even further down the league because they'll jump above us. And they've got a chance of getting into the top 4. Unai Emery, the manager, will bring a very strong and rested squad who haven't played midweek. Then again, our first team haven't played midweek either. So we should be rested. And so the clash between the two, head to head, is quite surprising. In the last 5 league meetings, Liverpool won twice and there's been 3 draws, and Aston Villa haven't won a game. Whether that continues remains to be seen. One thing is for certain, there'll be a rotation. All 11 players that start for Liverpool on Saturday night will be totally different. The whole 11 will be different to what we saw on Wednesday night. The good news is, on the injury front, Ryan Gravenberch has got the best chance of returning. Isak is still in doubt. Frimpong is definitely out. So is Leone. So if we can get Gravenberch back, that will be a plus. Team selection, well, that's pretty easy really, because we know what Arne Slot thinks and how he's going to put them together. And so a team selection is going to be Mamardashvili in goal, Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, Kirkus, back 4. Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Wirtz in midfield, Salah on the right, Ekitike down the middle, and Gakpo on the left. You can guarantee that he won't be too far from the truth on that one. Score prediction. Well, I'd like to see Liverpool win. I'd like to see a better performance. I keep saying this week in, week out. But now we've got to start turning it around. Whatever the problem is, whether it's internal or not, it needs to be sorted out. I ask another question. Has Arne Slot lost the confidence of the dressing room? It happens many, many times in the past where you see players underperforming, teams losing week in, week out. Then the manager gets sacked. And what you see is that all these players seem to have a millstone around their neck lifted. And they start playing to their best performance and start winning games after game after game after game, whether they've got a caretaker or an interim manager in place until a new one is appointed. But if there is something wrong, that it needs to be sorted out within Liverpool, we won't know. We won't be privileged to know what's going on. I know John Henry from FSG will be asking questions. I would be if I was in his shoes. I'd be asking the chairman and the board, what's going on? What's happening? Is there something going wrong between the manager and the players? It needs to be nipped in the bud and nipped quite soon. And the sooner the better. A stitch in time saves 9. And the sooner we sort this problem out and get back to winning ways, it's a plus. It's a must. Score prediction. Well, as I said, I'd like to see Liverpool win. But because of these two sides the way they are, I think I'm going to go for a score draw 1-1. Thank you for watching my video. Please look out for my next video, which will be the match review of the Liverpool versus Aston Villa game at the weekend. So until then, enjoy the match, take care, and goodbye for now.